All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Rradoslav, and I'm the main organizing partner of Sofia Art Fair, an event initiated by the Sofia Breeze Foundation. And this is basically the first and only event at this point of this nature in the country. So, in the next slide, I'm going to talk about what actually is Sofia Art Fair. So, first, this is the biggest marketplace in the country when it comes to contemporary art. This is the place where galleries and the artists that they represent have the perfect situation, the perfect circumstances to meet potential buyers. And of course, all of this is happening in the right environment and the right people are invited so that you can engage with the audience and that you can basically turn an art lover into a collector and so forth. Now, here it is supposed to have some statistics, but what it says is that the first edition, which was in October last year, it was actually, even for us, surprisingly successful in terms of the sales. Basically, only one booth didn't sell on artwork. And keep in mind that the prices, the average prices, are between 1,500 to 8,000 euro. And some of the works, some of the booths sold out completely, even those which are in the upper average price range. The most expensive work was 220,000 euro of Anselm Kiefer, who is a huge name in the contemporary art world, unsold. But anyway, it just shows that this segment has a huge market potential that even we ourselves didn't expect it to be that significant. The second thing is that Sofia Art Fair engages new audience to the contemporary art world in general. We are talking about people who have never experienced this type of art before, maybe people who are even prejudiced, but then suddenly they come to this space where it's very comfortable, it looks great, and their mindsets start to just change. You see it literally happening. So it's creating a completely new base for contemporary art. Now the pointer is not working. And even if you don't participate at Sofia Art Fair, the project is still very useful for the contemporary art ecosystem because we had for the first edition more than 500 articles. And of course, during all the media coverage, we don't talk just about the Sofia Art Fair, we talk about the nature of contemporary art, so that the social value of this art, which is very extravagant and diverse, increases in the country, both in the eyes in the public and in the eyes of the institutions as well. Next slide. Sofia Art Fair is also educational platform. So at this Jonathan Asuf forum at Sofia Tech Art, this is where the event is happening. There is one floor which is dedicated entirely to discussions, to lectures, and to conversations. And we are inviting some of the most important names from the art world, mainly from Europe, but also from the US, so that they speak, so that they engage with the local audience. And this, as you would see, is also a way to promote Bulgaria and Sofia and the local artists. We had fantastic speakers, and we're going to have huge names this year as well. There is also a dedicated program with curatorial tours. They're for students, but also for the general public. So this educational element is happening also during the fair the whole time. And also, when people see some art which is very different from what they would expect, immediately this educational process is starting because they're trying to figure out why is this art, why is it so strange sometimes, why is it so paradoxical? And this is great. It's great to ask these questions because there you can find some answers as well. Also, Sofia Art Fair is a massive networking platform, massive. I don't think there is other event which is uniting such a group of people under the same roof. We're talking about representatives of the entertainment business, representatives of the, let's say, sport, a lot of business people, and we're talking about high profile uh, guys with all kinds of businesses, even heavy industry and stuff which is not directly related to art, at least intuitively. And of course, we have collectors and a lot of diplomats and so forth. So it's a fantastic place to go and just like meet the right people or the right partners. It is also a great opportunity because of the scale of the project. It is a great opportunity to engage with institutions and to actually start a proper conversation with them about the importance of contemporary art, both for the artists, but also, again, for the city, because it has a very significant added value, and then for the country. We also started creating from the very beginning a network with other fairs in the region. So we invited the founders of a fair from Greece and from Romania, in Bucharest, so that we just meet them, so that we get to know each other. And now, hopefully, we're working on a common project which may take place in 2027. And yes, Sofia Art Fair allows for strong international visibility. There are international journalists who are focusing on art who were here in Bulgaria. And later, of course, we got all these articles about what's happening in Sofia for the first time. And this is very stimulating because it reaches significant audience, which is, of course, curious about arts and culture. And vice versa, in our advisory board, we have fantastic professionals who are not Bulgarians, in this case, Nina in France, Germany, and Austria. They're good friends of ours, but also collectors and business people. And just by the word of mouth, you have no idea how strongly does that advertisement work. Just when somebody who's significant tells somebody else who's significant, guys, something important is happening in Sofia. This opens the doors just like magically for things that we have never imagined, to be honest. And Sofia Art Fair, that's why it also stimulates cultural tourism. Now, it's actually for real because we have a lot of people who are super passionate about art and they travel and they explore local cultures through art fairs. There's a lot of art fairs around the world. And that's what they do. It's something like a hobby and I guess obsession as well. And there are these art fair calendars where once your project is there, again, it becomes reachable to exactly that profile of people. And these are usually, again, people with good incomes who are very curious to explore. And all of this is just becoming like a very healthy cycle again for the city. And the fair, of course, is this an economy in itself. It is uniting very different fields, starting from food and culture, going to technology like virtual reality. Of course, we have a team, so there are job opportunities. But one cool thing is that we bring international companies with a certain specific know-how. So the company which built the booths of the fair, it is the largest European company which is specializing only in that. And it was fantastic to see them on the field. How are they working? Their working ethics. It's just like super inspiring. Also, there are all kinds of side projects like the pop-up incubator, which is for art and entrepreneurs, and it is organized in collaboration with the Sofia Tech Park. And Sofia Art Fair also creates a culture of tolerance. I love the work of this artist. He's called Luben Dumuzetsky, and I love it because what he's doing is he's uniting in his paintings gay culture with visual representation of Byzantine art, or basically Christian art. So he would use like Christian symbolism in his art, but then the topic would be gay culture, and he's doing that sometimes very boldly. And it's quite extravagant and quite cool. And I think it's a matter of tolerance as well, because contemporary art in general it is very extravagant, and I think this makes you feel very free when you communicate with it, because you're just like you feel immediately that you're outside of all the conventional social norms just by standing in front of something of this nature, and you just feel good about it. You're just like, I can be whatever I feel like, and nobody would care because there are a lot of extremes in this world, which I believe is a good thing. So the first edition of Sofia Art Fair, and actually I would say just one more thing because I'm gonna skip the last slides. One of the cool things about contemporary art in general is that it uses a different language to speak about things that we already know. Even if you say the most important thing and you say the truth, even if you say the most important place, if you use the same word every time, nobody would listen at some point. Because if you use the same word to say even the most important thing, somehow the language exhausts itself. And then people are basically bored. They don't want to listen, not because the message is not important, but because it's the same language that is being communicated with you. And contemporary art is like a new language. So it can speak about truths that we already know about, but to use a language which is so different that it makes you feel that this conversation is fresh. We can start talking about it again. So yeah, the recap, it was quite a good surprise for us and for everybody who is related to it. And the second edition is going to be October 2nd to October 5th. So of course, everybody is very much invited. And yeah, enjoy the art and let's have some fun together. Thank you so much.